This is the weekend edition of iFIBER 1 News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your number one source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories for this week was a new play put on by Moses Lake High School theater students. Their first performance was on Thursday night. Reporter Devin Higgins has the story.
In the Moses Lake High School Theater this week, after school hours are being spent getting ready for the opening of their latest show on Thursday. Arsenic and Old Lace is a classic black comedy centered around an eccentric, and some would say psychotic, New York family. Two sisters spend their days poisoning lonely lodgers. One of their nephews has done his own dastardly doings with the help of a drunken doctor, and the youngest nephew believes he's President Theodore Roosevelt and is digging the Panama Canal in the basement. At the center of the chaos is Mortimer, who believes he's the only sane one of the bunch and has to figure out who's doing what, to who, and how. Senior Jacob Law returns to the stage as Mortimer after being part of the theater's winter musical Into the Woods, and he talked about the challenges of the new show.
The sheer amount of lines. And there's a couple points in the play where I have a conversation with myself on the phone, and it's weird because a lot of the lines are, once you get into the mindset of the character, it's easy because it makes sense. But just having this conversation where you don't hear the replies can be a little bit weird. And those were some of the lines I struggled with earliest on because they're like large chunks of just me talking to nobody and having to reply.
Another challenge for the cast is dealing with a story and characters who exist in a bygone era of American history that they and even their parents may not know much about. For Law, he sees it as a chance to get his classmates and friends interested in how things were in an earlier generation.
Yeah, but it also piques their interest because some kids are like, oh yeah, I've seen this, like for Into the Woods I heard, oh yeah, I've already seen the movie. And that piques some of their interest and they want to come, but some people, they were turned off by it. They didn't enjoy the movie, so they didn't come. So they have no idea what this is. I just try to sell it as much as I can without giving away too much of the plot. And if they're interested, and most of them, a lot of them have been, I just say, come and watch, it'll be great.
In putting the cast together, director Sabrina Tim gave the majority of the traditionally male roles to female actors. Sophomore Carolyn Bigwood plays Teddy and said the opportunity is exciting for her and her fellow actors.
It's been great. Like, I love it. Like, this show, I think it's really great. We all just come together and we're playing characters it's so like realistic. Like, with a musical, like, it's all fun, but it's like, it's not something that could like really happen, like Into the Woods. But with Arsenic and Old Lace, like, this is something that's not like typically gonna happen, but it's like possible. And I love playing Teddy. Like, I feel so happy when I'm him, and it's so great. Not because he's Teddy Roosevelt, but he's a boy that pretends that he is, and he really thinks he is. And like, I love it because like, I'm just thinking, when I was like young, like that's something that I like would have done and what I would have liked to do. And so it's so fun to just go and just bring him to life on stage, and I'm excited to see what people think about it.
Arsenic and Old Lace runs Thursday through Saturday at 7 p.m. with a special matinee set for 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
In Ephrata, a group of middle school students were recognized at a special assembly for academic achievement through the first half of the school year. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
Ephrata Middle School took some time to celebrate some of their standout students with a special assembly. Parents and community members were on hand as faculty and administrators highlighted more than 50 rising stars and shooting stars in the 7th and 8th grade levels. Principal Kenneth Murray said choosing such a group wasn't exactly an easy one.
Here's the reality of celebrating great kids. We have a whole lot more great kids than are actually sitting down here. The majority of the kids in this building do amazing things every day. But you have to limit the number of kids that you're able to recognize, otherwise no academic work will be done today. So we're going to have to kind of narrow that down and celebrate just a few kids, and we're excited to do that.
Stars were recognized for both their academic achievement and how they interact with fellow students and faculty members, as well as if they managed to show significant improvement in their schoolwork over the first semester of the school year. In Ephrata, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
And now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be right back after this.
When the cold rolls in, it's time to turn on the heater and cozy up with a book. But turning up the heat can mean higher electric bills. And for some families in tough times, that could mean choosing between a warm meal or a warm house. For decades, people like you have extended a hand to help local families in need pay those winter electric bills. Share the warmth this winter to help keep your neighbor warm by giving a little when you pay your Grant PUD bill.
Hi everyone, I'm Jocelyn Rodriguez bringing you your local weather. This weather segment is brought to you by Barry Motors, one great place to buy and service a car. Let's take a closer look at our headlines within the next few days. That air stagnation advisory is in effect until tomorrow 10 a.m. For tonight, it will remain cloudy with that slight chance of precipitation, and coming through for the weekend, unsettled weather pattern as a series of low pressure systems will continue approaching the area, bringing that threat of mountain snow, valley rain and breezy conditions even for the beginning of the work week. Taking a closer look at the almanac within the past 24 hours, temperatures above the normal for this time of year. Those winds pushing through from the southwest, bringing all that warm air into our area, and then those systems approaching from the west, bringing that threat of showers and mountain snow. Maximum temperatures in the upper 40s above the normal for this time of year, and our sunset at 5:17 p.m. Waking up with temperatures in the mid-30s for Moses Lake. It should be around the mid-20s, so around 10 degrees above the normal for this time of year, and maximum temperatures in the upper 40s. Right now outside your door, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-40s, and those winds pushing through from the southwest, bringing that warm air through our area around 6 miles per hour. A little bit of cloud cover, some scattered showers for this evening, and some periods of dry conditions, especially for central parts. But through the morning hours, increasing cloud cover for the coastal area with that threat of isolated showers, especially towards the north and mountain snow. And then coming through after 11 a.m. Between the afternoon hours, increasing cloud cover. Another system approaching by the late afternoon, bringing that threat of heavy rainfall and thunderstorms, as well as mountain snow through the overnight hours. And then conditions quickly improving for central parts for the overnight into Sunday morning. Temperatures towards the Yakima Valley in the upper 50s with mostly cloudy skies for the inland northwest, around the lower 40s to mid 40s, and towards the coastal area, those temperatures in the upper 40s with mostly cloudy skies, lots of cloud cover and that threat of showers, and even that possibility of thunderstorms and mountain snow along the Cascades. For the Columbia Basin, those temperatures ranging from the lower 50s to upper 40s. For our area for this weekend, there is that threat of precipitation, around 30% of showers. Temperatures remain above the normal in the lower 50s. But then coming through from the beginning of the work week, temperatures return in around the 60-degree mark. Those temperatures above the normal for this time of year. And then coming through for Tuesday, we do get a decrease in temperatures. They return in the lower 50s by Wednesday with another threat of precipitation, as well as for Thursday, even possibly for the second half of the work week. Thank you all for joining us.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PUD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The new flamethrower cheeseburger now with a $5 lunch. I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Gary, do you remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
Comes with a Sunday now. I can handle it.
You know your body, Gary.
Go flamethrower. Now the DQ $5 lunch comes with the new jalapeno bacon flamethrower cheeseburger, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. This is fan food, not fast food.
Ephrata Tigers held off Wapato in postseason round ball action Thursday.
The Lady Tigers are moving on to round 2 of the district playoffs after turning back Wapato 49-36 in Ephrata Thursday. Maddie Youngers led the way for the home team with a solid 19-point effort. Harley Venata added 16. It was a low-scoring first quarter with Ephrata holding a 6-5 lead. The Lady Tigers heated up in the second with a 13-0 run to go up top 25-15 at the half. The teams traded second-half buckets, and it was Ephrata coming away with the double-digit win. Sophomore guard Caitlin Ostrowski drew the tough assignment of guarding the Wolves' leading scorer Taryn Hart and held her to 13 points. Ephrata advances to a semifinal showdown with league champion Ellensburg Saturday evening at Sunnyside High School. Tip-off is set for 8:30. Win or lose, the Lady Tigers are guaranteed 2 more games to meet their objective and qualify for the big dance.
The #1 ranked Moses Lake Chiefs finished runner-up at the district wrestling tournament in Yakima.
The old adage of it's better at times to have 100 nickels than 50 dimes held true in Sunnyside's dethroning of the defending Big 9 district champion Moses Lake Chiefs Saturday. The crowd on hand witnessed some of the best 4A wrestling in the state during the 2-day event at Davis High School. But it was the Chiefs and Grizzlies trading leads through the semifinal round. And after a grueling day of competition, it was Moses Lake advancing 10 to the finals and Sunnyside sending 7. The Chiefs' Jesus Cornejo at 106 was the first of 8 Moses Lake wrestlers to claim championships. Nick Hara, Cooper McCullough, Hunter Cruz, Joel Torres, Hudson Mosseth, Dylan Morris, and Peyton Castro followed suit. The Grizzlies crowned 4 champions, which appeared to all but hand the Chiefs their 4th straight title. But after the final tally was recorded, Sunnyside owned the consolation bracket with 7 third-place finishes, and that was the difference maker. The Grizzlies finished with a team total 400 points. Moses Lake had 361.5. Host Davis placed 3rd with 184.5. The top 3 placers in each weight class advanced to the regional tournament at University High in Spokane Friday and Saturday.
Well, there was a lot riding on the games between the Chiefs and Wildcats when they went at it in Big 9 round ball action in Moses Lake Tuesday.
The girls were looking to make it 19 wins in a row and did just that, rolling past Eastmont 53-26. The Chiefs had absolutely no trouble racking up the W, leading 21-3 after the first quarter was in the books. Jamie Luetta set the pace for the home team with 11 points. Moses Lake pushed the score to 25-7 midway through the second quarter. The Chiefs' stingy defense surrendered a measly 14 points heading into the final 8 minutes of action. That allowed Coach Matt Strophe to unload his bench, rest his starters, and get ready for West Valley Friday night when the Rams come to town for the final contest of the regular season. Jesse Luetta led the Chiefs' effort against the Wildcats with 12 points. Jamie Luetta had 11. Jessica Olson finished with 9. Moses Lake is just now 1 game shy of a perfect 20-0 record and a place in the school history books.
The second game of the evening was a low-scoring back-and-forth contest that came down to the final minute before it was decided.
The Chiefs got past the Wildcats 49-43, but it wasn't pretty by any means. Both teams were a bit sluggish to start the Big Nine showdown, but things began to heat up on a bucket by Eastmont's Alex Guerrera, and this crossover move for two by Zach Phillips. That put the Chiefs up 11-9 at the end of the first quarter. This assist from Isaiah Thomas to Gonzalez gave the home team a slim 23-22 halftime lead. A Wildcat free throw and a tray from Ryan Carstetter made it 26-23 Moses Lake in the opening minutes of the third quarter. The Chiefs upped their lead to 43-37 with 90 ticks left on the clock. A crucial bucket by Zach Phillips and two Cesar Sandoval free throws made it 47-41 with under a minute to go. Sandoval led the Moses Lake attack with 18 points. The Chiefs look to close out regular season play on a 4-game win streak at home Friday against West Valley and maintain the mojo heading into the postseason.
The Moses Lake girls look to make history tonight at home as they look to end the regular season with a 20-0 record. Tip-off is 5:45. And be sure and tune in to Channel 1 tonight at 6 and Saturday at 2 for live coverage of Big Bend basketball. Have a great weekend. We'll be back after this commercial break.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients, have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
Our next story is about the Grant County Sheriff's deputies training for a new drone program expected to be ready later this month. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
After a full day of training to certify sheriff's deputies to fly unmanned aerial vehicles, the Grant County Sheriff's Office successfully used the aircraft to track a wanted man who allegedly fled his home. The unmanned aerial vehicle, more commonly known as a UAV or a drone, was deployed Wednesday night at a home near Soap Lake. The pilot was able to circle the home until the suspect was reportedly seen fleeing out the window and into a field. The camera on the drone was used to track the suspect until deputies took him into custody. Wednesday's training allowed deputies to be certified with the Federal Aviation Administration. Sheriff Tom Jones explains more about the process.
So yesterday we went through a selection process for our unmanned aerial vehicles, or commonly known as UAVs. And in order for our agency to make sure that we're doing the process correctly, we selected 7 actual pilots that went through an all-day training, both a written and practical application of the UAV to make sure that they know all the ins and outs of the vehicle and how its use is, and all the benefits that it can bring.
The Sheriff's Office is finalizing its policy before the drone program is approved, which is focused on use in specific purposes while protecting citizens' right to privacy.
So obviously, as the sheriff, I'm a big proponent of the right to privacy, and obviously following the Fourth Amendment, that's the last thing we want to do is invade anybody's privacy or right to privacy on their own property. So if it's something that we have a lawful purpose to be on that particular property, we'll follow it just like we do any other occasion with an application for a search warrant for that property. That will allow us to basically do anything that we need to on that property with the permission of the courts.
The sheriff said it appears his office is the only one in the state with a UAV program. and the program could provide an example for other agencies to follow.
I absolutely do. I think there's a huge need for it. And I think a lot of people have a misnomer that because there's an UAV in the air that, law enforcement might be spying on people or that effect. But in the reality is that these, at least with our office, I believe that they'll be used more for post-investigatory situations or missing persons, missing children, those kind of things, to where we can get something up in the air and we can actually cover a lot more ground versus on foot or on horses or something like that.
The idea for the drone program came when a hunter went missing near Royal City in November. Jones said it took about 4 days to find the hunter's body.
I truly believe with the capabilities of the UAV or the unmanned or aerial vehicle that we would have, because they're very specific on, you can set parameters, you can set grid searches and that kind of thing, and it does it all via GPS. And so with that, I believe we would have located the missing hunter substantially earlier than what we did.
The UAV program is expected to be approved later this month. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back.
We are real students, and this really is our college.
My dream will change the outcome of my life.
My college is allowing me to achieve my dream.
My dream is to be a pilot.
My dream is to be a nurse.
Only you can determine your dream. Big Bend will help you get there.
What's your dream?
Experience speed like never before when you connect to Grant PUD's high-speed network. Visit grantpud.org to learn more.
Welcome back. The next story is about high school students from Grant and Chelan counties participating in a Knowledge Bowl tournament at Ephrata High School. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
At Ephrata High School on Monday night, teams of students from across Grant and Chelan County sat down to determine who was the fastest on the draw with the right answers during the final regular Knowledge Bowl meet of the season. Knowledge Bowl has been a part of Washington schools for 35 years as a way to let students use their intellect and love of learning in an extracurricular format. Each team has 3 or 4 members who try to answer the most of 60 questions in each round. The first team to buzz in gets 15 seconds to answer before moving on to the next team, and after 30 questions, a substitute player can be swapped out. Scores are tracked, and after 3 rounds, the team with the highest total score wins. Retired Ephrata teacher Kathleen Allstott brought the concept with her from her time in Oroville 27 years ago. The team is now headed by chemistry and physics teacher Joe Wolf, who talked about how he helps get his students ready for each competition.
A lot of it's just like getting kids interested and involved, and I think we were down to like 6 people on our team here earlier, several years ago, and I think I just counted today we've got 19 kids today. So getting kids involved, and it's a non-athletic thing, and we push athletics, and this is something that's different. And getting kids that typically wouldn't be out on a court, out on the field, in doing a team sport, it's kind of a cool thing. They get some tough questions, and you get a lot of interaction going, and there's life skills they're developing there too, as far as working together with people and trying to achieve something. So that's kind of it.
Team members Avery Mickelson and Austin Franks talked about their time in Knowledge Bowl and how it's helped them in and out of the classroom.
First off, I got involved because I had a lot of friends that were involved in it that were older classmen, and so they kind of just drug me around to a lot of the stuff they do. And after we got going, I also really like Jeopardy, and it's a lot like Jeopardy, and so it's just kind of fun. Even if you don't know the answers, you just kind of make up a fun answer, make everybody laugh. So yeah.
I got started in Knowledge Bowl because my sister was being inducted into National Honor Society, and Knowledge Bowl's award night was the same night, and I went and I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna go to state in that someday, and I just decided to do it. And a lot of people would be surprised at how much they know in these competitions. Like, you may not be getting 25 like some of the teams, but a lot of times you just don't buzz in quick enough, and you know it, and like, hey, I knew almost like there, you can get like 1 step before the answer, and a lot of people they just got to give it a chance because it's a lot more fun than it sounds.
Yeah. And honestly, like, that's why I stayed with it. Is first year I was like just on a team that we were on the lower levels, kind of not as hard, but it was just fun to make up answers and just have fun with it and not actually try sometimes.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun. And so just kind of fun with it and just joke around with your teammates.
The social aspect.
Yeah.
The teams are meeting again at the regional tournament in 2 weeks in the hope of going back to the state tournament in March. In Ephrata, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a story about a man accused of firing off at least 50 rounds and setting his own home on fire near Soap Lake. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
A man allegedly fired at least 50 shots outside his home near Soap Lake before barricading himself inside and setting his home on fire. Residents in the 16,000 block of Road B.5 Northeast called 911 after reportedly hearing between 50 and 100 gunshots within a 30-minute period outside the home of Robert Wiley, a 49-year-old Soap Lake man. According to the sheriff's office, when deputies arrived, Wiley was reportedly inside his home and had set it on fire. Wiley allegedly refused to come out of the home and fled out of a back window into a field after extinguishing the flames. The sheriff's office used a camera on its new unmanned aerial vehicle, or drone, and reportedly tracked the man as he walked away from his home. The video shows 4 sheriff's deputies approach Wiley in a field before he was arrested for a warrant for failing to appear in court. Under Sheriff Dave Pinozzo said investigators could not determine if shots were fired at anything specific or a general direction. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
That wraps up our weekend edition. iFIBER 1 News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.